Tim, welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meter chronometer. This is reference 2231.80. You can see this 41.5mm titanium chronometer dive watch on our website. Purchase it there. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with additional accessories included, more high resolution images, and naturally full pricing details. Now this watch is a kissing cousin of the late 90s to early 2000s Omega Seamaster Professional James Bond, but that reference, the 2531.80, was decidedly different in steel with a different finish of the metals about the case and the bezel, and a completely different dial. That one matte, this one an explosive, iridescent, almost electric blue. This is the more expressive of the two watches, and by far the less common. Now this watch is 41.5mm across the round of the case, not including helium release valve, the crown, or the crown guards. It's remarkably svelte, only 12mm thick. It also features a nicely domed sapphire and a conical bezel, so it easily slides underneath a dress cuff or a tight sleeve, such as a Bond-style tuxedo, and that in spite of the helium valve, which frankly is recessed far enough into the case that it doesn't become a holdup. Now, lug to lug, it's actually a sizable watch. Not oversized, but it is a substantial 48mm from lug to lug, and 53mm from the outermost portion of the solid end link of the bracelet to its opposite number. That distance truly defines the span across the wrist, so measure your wrist laterally and you'll get a sense of whether or not this watch is for you. Subjectively, and having owned this exact case size on the true Bond Seamaster Professional, I can tell you that it fits easily on my 16cm wrist, and I would say down to 13.5cm even in circumference. You're going to be able to wear this watch easily. This one perhaps with even greater ease than my watch, because my watch was steel. This example in titanium is very light and wieldy on the wrist. Now structurally the bracelet is the same as on the steel example. Of course the finish is different, this being the great gray metal. Titanium actually takes a dramatic polish that's rarely seen. We're used to seeing titanium in a matte or satin brushed finish, but you can see here where polished application is employed, it's very effective at creating contrast and dynamism. Now of course the mechanism of the class is the same as the stainless steel counterpart, milled out, very substantial, released by twin triggers so you can't accidentally pop it open, it's not friction fit, and again, like the steel counterpart, this one has one of the best dive extensions in the business, even today, almost 20 years after this watch first emerged. Now the watch, within the bounds of its dive case, features quite a few signatures that are long-running elements of Omega professional watches. Since 1965, you've seen the same kind of beveled case with the Speedmaster Professionals, with the Seamaster Professionals, and you can see that that design cue is carried forward here. The watch does have the helium valve that's become a modern signature of the Omega Seamaster Professionals, both the 300 meters and the Planet Oceans. Probably not something you'll need, but again, a great conversation piece, completely functional, and if you are that 1% of 1% diving in a bell, well, here it is to do its job. For the rest of us, luxury is simply a matter of having more than we need. Now the treatment of the bezel is very different from the Bond. That one features anodized aluminum, which is subject to scratching, and of course all of the numerals and indices and hash marks on the anodized bezel are simply relief upon the anodized blue portion. Here, everything you see is actually engraved and then lacquered, so it's a far more durable and quite a different aesthetic, being dark on light rather than light on dark. But moving inboard, we find the real distinguishing feature of this watch is that explosive dial. Now you can see it's dazzling even in the soft filtered light of my light box. I have diffusers going here and this watch is still exploding. I mean, this is absolutely spectacular when you take it out in the light of day. And unlike the Bond, which features skeletonized hands and smaller indices, this one is absolutely swathed in superluminova. Again, so it'll explode in direct light, but if you charge it up and then take it into the dark, it's just as explosive, almost volcanic in that respect. Now the Bond has a matte blue dial with the wave pattern. This has an iridescent blue with the same wave pattern. Now all of the functionality that you get in the Bond, you get in the 2231, including Omega's 2892 derived chronometer grade caliber 1120. It's actually upgraded substantially from both an aesthetic standpoint and a mechanical standpoint, featuring Omega-specific finishing on the bridges, plates, and rotor, as well as an extra 2 joules within the movement, 23 compared to the 2892A2 standard 21. It features a 44-hour power reserve, hacking seconds, so pull the crown, hack the balance, synchronized precisely to a known accurate reference time, such as an atomic clock or a dive timer, and it does feature hacking seconds and a quick set date, so regardless of how your watch may err, you can rapidly correct it. I'll also mention that the pleasure of using this dive bezel on the 300-meter Seamaster professional chronometer is everything you would expect of a dive watch costing multiples of this. A dive bezel can really make or break a great dive watch, and here I'm happy to say Omega has done its job well and done its research beautifully. It sounds and feels spectacular. And of course, this watch looks spectacular. You can see it, fall in love with it, purchase it, and take it home on our website.